Hey there, Coxie here, and welcome to video 6, I believe. 6. So this is story time. Okay, I'm going to share my experience to you of how I did all these things and even the future things, how it all works, giving you the story and sort of a vision of where you can see yourself following these steps. So my first big trip was 99 days, just over 3 months. It was 2011. So in 2010, I listened to the audiobook of Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. And while it's massive, there was one section in there that really got my attention, and it was about living like a local. He said, if you rent an apartment and live like a local, eating local dishes or cooking, you can travel a lot longer than if you went into hotels and ate out at restaurants all the time. Thought, interesting idea. Again, 2010, now it's almost a common thing. Back then, it was not unheard of, but it was, really? You can do that? Very uncommon, right? So I looked into it and I stayed. First thing, I wanted to go back to Malaysia. I had been to KL once, 2000, the year 2000. I went to KL for a stopover, a week, and I loved it. KL in 2000 was awesome. It was party town. It was really happening. To me, KL is just getting worse and worse. And I don't want to say worse, meaning it's bad. It's still good, but it's nowhere near what it used to be, in my opinion. And I've been going a lot. I've been to KL probably 20 times or something. But anyway, so tip number 1 is to travel slowly, right? From 4-Hour Work Week, the more local you can travel, the longer you can travel. So here we're talking about traveling as long as we want on any budget. Well, if you travel locally, you can travel longer, right? Doesn't matter what country it is. Locally is always cheaper than like a tourist who just throw money everywhere, restaurants and all this sort of stuff, right? I went from Australia to Malaysia for 7 weeks, I think it was, Laos for a week, Burma for a week, and Indonesia for a month. So total was 99 days, just over 3 months. So I was in cheaper countries. That's another tip. To start with, you could go to cheaper countries. So earn an income that is higher, Australian dollars, US dollars, euro, and have your expenses traveling to countries that are cheaper or lower income, right? And that will stretch your dollar. So 1 Australian dollar will get me this far in Australia, but it could get me this far in Malaysia or Laos or Burma or Indonesia. So make the most of your dollars, right? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Tip number 1, travel slowly. Tip number 2, start traveling to countries that are cheaper, right? So you earn a more powerful currency and have a weaker currency in expenses. That will make things go longer. What else? I've got a couple of notes here. Yeah, that's about it. The other one is that I did, maybe you can, depends where you go, is I waited. I was very flexible. I was already working from my laptop. I've been doing that for 5 years already, since 2005, I think. I'd been working from home. I quit the casino then. So I was already working from my laptop. So I was flexible. I didn't even know digital nomad or laptop lifestyle or whatever existed back then. I just knew I was working from home from my laptop. I didn't realize I could be anywhere in the world until I listened to that 4-Hour Work Week audiobook. I thought, yeah, I could go to Malaysia for 3 months if I want to. Okay. So then I looked into airfare specials. Why spend $1,000 on an airfare when you can spend $500? Just wait for the big special. So I waited for the AirAsia big sale. And that's another tip, right? Travel longer means travel slower means travel longer. Travel like a local means travel longer. Earn bigger income or bigger currency and have lower or cheaper, weaker currency expenses. And then wait for the specials, right? If you buy an airfare for $100 and you fly from one place to another place and stay for one day, that $100 airfare, if you per day, that's $100 per day you're spending on an airfare. But if you spend that $100 airfare and you stay in that location for a month, 30 days, suddenly that airfare has cost you on average 100 divided by 30, what's that? Just over $3 per day. So you've gone from an average airfare expense of $100 per day if you only stayed in that place for one day. But if you stayed in that place for 1 month, suddenly that airfare cost per day on average is costing you $3, right? That's why traveling longer is cheaper as well. Plus you can get apartments rather than hotels. You know, you go to a hotel, it's, let's say, $100 a night. You stay in an apartment, I know this is 2011, but the apartment I stayed in was 900 ringgit, Malaysian ringgit, for a month. It was in the heart of KL. It was a perfect location. It was in Maytower Hotel. At the top is serviced apartments, which was 550 Australian dollars a month, I believe. It was about that back in 2011. For a whole month, my accommodation was $550 in the heart of KL for a month. It was unbelievable. So these are tips or ways where you can travel longer, higher income, lower expenses, traveling slower. Don't buy as many airfares or travel as many times. Stay put as much as you can. It'll really make it easier to travel longer. And that was my experience in 2011. And I've done this a couple of times. Now, I don't know, I want to see more places and I don't want to travel as long now. For me, I just want to travel during winter, Australian winter. I hate the cold, hate the winter. So I'll just travel between 2 and 4 months a year. That's enough for me. But because I want to see multiple places, staying put for a whole month isn't really for me now. But back then it was. For 2011, 13, 14, I did that. 2013, I spent a month in Vientiane, Laos. Can you believe that? Most people don't even want to be there for 3 days. I spent a whole month in Vientiane. Where else? Couple of weeks in Cambodia. Yeah. So anyway, there's some other tips on how you can travel as long as you want on any budget. Things that you can control and manipulate to help you get that done. And you can do it in any country. All right. So this is a longer video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.